Hey, good morning. Back up to the bus again. Let's see. I remembered to bring my tools, so that's going to be really helpful. I did not bring a fine scale, but I do have my tape measure, so I should be able to work with that. The fine scale would have been helpful in the laying out of the Z braces I want to make because I am going to have to do a little more thinking. I didn't leave room for Lexel in the test piece that I did, so I have to increase some of the dimensions by an eighth of an inch, which just a finer scale would have made that easier, but it'll be fine. What else? I remember to empty the SD card, so I should actually get through this whole thing without running out of space. So I guess follow along. I will try to make sure I actually record all of this. And let's get started. Let's make some Z braces for the windows. So I did not bring a fine scale, but you know what I did bring? I brought my calipers. Who knew? So this is going to be way more accurate than anything I could ever actually get to with that bender. But nobody ever said this is... no one ever said being too accurate was a problem. Well, actually, that's not true. People do say being too accurate is a problem. But it's not usually my problem. So let's see. How wide of a trough do we need? There is a ton of goop on these things already that we will have to clean off before we finally assemble anything. And we'll mess up my measurements. Okay, so let's see here. It's not really helpful, but we have 1.55, right? Yeah, 1.55 inches. No, I'm wrong about that. 1.055 inches. So that's a trough. I'm going to make it a little more than that. Oh, and I got to go. I got to respond to somebody from work. All right, hold on. 1.055 inches. That was what we learned. All right, sorry about that interruption. So we had 1.55 for the 1.55 for the thickness. I'm going to round that up to 1.625. 1.0625, so 1 1/16. Getting this part, I'm going to get this reveal here. So I'm measuring the reveal that comes down the top of the window. That is 0.8 of an inch. And it's going to go up a little. Is it really 0.8 of an inch? No, it's 3/4 of an inch. A little less. So go up to 3/4 of an inch. I actually want it to be a little bit less than that. I had done 1/2 an inch and that looked pretty good. I think if I do 5/8, it'll be okay. Maybe I'll do 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch won't go over and it'll leave a little bit of a reveal. We'll do 3/4 of an inch. I like 3/4 of an inch. All right. Well, actually, that's the side coming down. The side going up wants to be... That can also be 3/4 of an inch. We'll be fine. So doing a little math. And actually, the next thing I'm going to do is try to get a straightish cut on this piece of steel. That'll be fun. All right. I'm going to move off of the curve a little bit and up above this pretty nasty grind mark that I made. To about here. Just going to draw a line on it and we'll see how accurate I can get. And I'm going to have to be realistic as to how accurate I'm going to be able to get with any of these cuts. And go pull some power out. Man, I really like these shears. That was not a perfectly straight cut, but it is really close. I mean, it's probably at max a 16th of an inch waver there. And I feel like on a bus, a 16th of an inch just doesn't show. No, I'm only hurting myself here. That's not making it better. In fact, I'm leaving a burr, so just fix that burr real quick and call it a day. I'm probably within a 30-second all the way down now. I need to sand it a little bit just to get the burr off, but it's not bad actually. Okay, now what do I need for sizes? It's a 3/4 and a 3/4 and inch and a 16th, so it's inch and a half. Those are my 2 3/4 inch lengths. And I need to get another inch and a 16th. No, yeah, inch and a 16th, so 2 1/2. And that's 625 is what we said. Or I'm sorry, 0.65. So that's about the total length I need, theoretically. I'm not really leaving space for, not really leaving enough space for the bends. So I'm going to leave the line there. Come over here, do the same thing. Again, I think that I'm using numbers that are way more accurate than I can actually reproduce. But rather shoot for the accurateness and then fall short. And do we have an arbitrary set of things square here? Let's see here. There's a little bit of difference there. Interesting. I'm gonna go with the measurements up. If this whole thing is a bit of a trapezoid, it's probably okay. I screwed that one up. I would say the one thing that would be really nice would be the ability to use a fence. But with this rounded edge here, it's just, maybe if I had it flat, I don't know, man. I feel like you end up here, and have to be down here to use the fence. So just, maybe it's high enough? I don't know. Try it on the next one, maybe. Yep. The next experiment that I actually want to do is I want to try unfolding these. So let's see about that. All right. Can't find my little blue pry bars. I'm going to use this. It's the wrong tool. I want to go on record as having said, I went to Harbor Freight and specifically bought a set of screwdrivers that had flatheads with the intention of abusing them and destroying them. I said to myself, I don't have any terrible flatheads I don't care about. And I bought some terrible flatheads that I don't care about. And honestly, they've done pretty well. Because I wouldn't want to use a nice flathead as a pry bar. This is the terrible flathead that I don't care about. I think I have some pliers, so I'll have to do a nice job of opening that. Let's see here. What I'm actually trying to do is open up. I want to open up this hem to see if I can get a little bit more space to be able to bend up a tab that I can rivet to the inside window frame. Because this ends up being like exactly the right size between these two hems. Honestly, as I think about it, I don't need necessarily to get this full length back out again, although it'd be nice. All I really need is this extra 3/4 of an inch that I can re-bend up at 90 when I'm done. So maybe we'll just take that off for now. Although that's not going to leave a lot because of the shears. Ha. Ha, ha, ha. When in doubt, you need a bigger hammer. Well, I'm not going to hit that hard here because I don't want to bust really. Is this worth it? I'm not sure. Well, that's not a lot better. And we'll try it. You know what though? I probably have something better than these shears for that. I've got these shears. Get a lot closer to a line. Next question, are they too long now? Is it less than 36 inches? He asked himself. It is. It's 29.5 inches. Fine. Good, how are you? All right. Let's go take a look at the bending brake. I'm not 1,000% happy with this yet, but we'll see. Step 1, 3/4 of an inch. 750 thou ish. The same thing, whereas I move one side, the other side moves. Standard operating procedure for things like this. There. Going to loosely grab this piece, and then work on this piece. Nope, take that back. Needs to be a push. That ain't working. Plan the B. Bend the first. Not tight enough. Hang on, let's try that again. Don't know this is gonna work anyways. Let's see. Okay. Well, pushed it back a bit, but at least it's a nice clean bend-ish. I screwed this up. Let's do an 1 1/16 this way. One inch. Maybe I didn't screw this up. 1 3/4 inch. Oh, that's fine. Nothing says I measured right, but in the original thing, but this is actually about right. So let's go back to 750 thou, which again is way more accurate than I can actually bend. Let's see what happens here. Okay. As you determined, this bend is ugly. Because basically I'm guessing at where the bend's going to be. Man, I'm trying to line it up. Somewhere, machinist is going to start crying. That's not even close. Oh, there's a sound. I'll have to just bend this part back straighter up again. I actually don't mind it being a little tighter. It's not a very good reveal. It's sort of a, kind of comes up in the reveal. So I kind of wonder if there's a way I can sand that down. I wonder if I bring this home and put it on the, I have a belt sander with a plate. I can kind of try to get, try to get a easy line on it. The next question is, can I cut and mark and bend up these inner tabs is the next question. To give myself that staple, that rivet area I wanted. That might not be the best place to stand, man. Alright. So, does this fit in the bus? Let's find out. So after that, it turns out I made it too wide. This doesn't fit. Doesn't even fit a little bit. So I've got a couple of issues running in here. I gotta cut this back. I actually may want to trim this edge here back a little bit too, so that they're uniform. I hadn't thought about that yet. And then I'm gonna have to do. All right, I got some cleaning up work to do. I have to pay for some past sins now. This part I think is gonna work pretty well. I might want to make this bottom trough bit a tiny bit bigger than I did. I made it an 1 1/16. I think it wants to be 1 1/8. Easy. Maybe even a little more. So that's good to know. And then I got to clean up these windows here. I just put in plates and I left them a little wide, saying I'll just come back and cut them back later. Well, now it's later. Well, that was a lot of grinding. Waiting for the tingly fingers, my tingly feeling in my fingers to go away. One of the interesting things about grinding is that while it requires a certain attention to detail, you get a lot of time for your mind to wander. Ever do that thing when your mind is wandering and you come up with something you should have said? Yeah, that happens to me all the time. So a couple of weeks ago, I had a comment on the channel about how I don't have a lot of viewers. They thought that I should have more, and that was very complimentary. And I made sort of a quick comment back about how I really do a terrible job of promoting the channel, which is true because, you know, if this were to blow up, I'd probably end up having to change a life that I like a lot. But that's a whole different philosophical discussion. What I really should have said, and I'm disappointed in myself for not coming out with, was that, like, that person's gotten in before my social relationships have turned parasocial. I know that commenter now as an actual internet person, as opposed to just fan. We'll assume. I'm assuming a lot. But that occurs to me that anyone who's actually watching this video has actually gotten in before the channel's known. So that means that the commenter and you who are watching actually do know about this before anyone else. You may or may not have liked me. You have the opportunity to like me before I got big. Which, that means that if you hit that like button down below, or that subscribe button down below, you can be qualified as a hipster. So if you ever wanted to be able to bring a typewriter and your pet chicken to a Starbucks, now's the time, people. Smash that like button. Man, that's a long way to go for that joke. So what that huge amount of grinding just told me is that because we have these caps that come over those outside edges and push the edges, that push the window frame in a little bit, this basically doesn't want to be any longer than the top of the window frame. It could be maybe a quarter of an inch longer, really. And it doesn't buy me much because this part right here can't sit against the brace. It has to sit back a little bit. Or it can't sit against the rib. It has to sit back a little bit. So really, I just did an hour of grinding to find out that I just am best off cutting these off. Oh well. Good to know. I gotta cut it from the other side. I don't have a hand for that. Hang on. So, in the end, these Z braces are gonna have a little box end here that I'll, stick some adhesive in. I'm gonna rivet through. I'm gonna rivet them through this end into the rib. Caulking that little seam in here, and they'll drain water off the front here. And they won't have a little wing over here that sits against the rib because they have to sit back from the rib. They're going to look like this, which you can't see because I'm backlit. And I'm going to turn the camera off and make 3 more of these.